And so, thank you guys for joining us here tonight and hanging out with us.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
We're excited to be here.
Well, Rachel Maurice, thanks again for coming in. We're going to start off with an easy question first.
Okay.
What is your favorite TV shows?
That's easy?
Yeah, I thought you were going to start with an easy question.
Jeez.
I don't know. We super love trash reality TV. So, like, The Challenge on MTV.
It's definitely one of our, if not our favorite. Survivor
is also great.
definitely up there, for sure.
But outside of, like, trash reality realm,
We watch so many
we,
shows.
of course, love Game of Thrones.
100%.
Super excited for the last season of that. And
Who's going to get the throne?
Who we want to get the throne?
Yeah, who do you
or
first of all?
think's gonna get
First
the
of all,
throne?
who do you want to get the throne, and who do you think is going to end up?
I mean,
being
I
it?
would love, like, probably Jon Snow, or
Yeah.
a combination of Tyrion. Like, they set up a parliament.
all the good guys.
Yeah, I mean, they turn it into a democracy. That would be like the most appealing
Yeah.
ending for the people who watch the
But
show.
I don't think anybody's getting the throne.
No, I think they're
the
gonna
White
dissolve the
Walkers.
throne.
I think the White Walkers are gonna fucking kill everybody.
Yeah.
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 He's going to have a Shakespearean
White
ending where everybody
Walkers are
gets it.
going to win. I mean,
Yeah.
we know George R.R. Martin is not one to pull punches when it comes to tragedy.
Winter is
Right.
coming.
That's
Forever.
they've been saying that since episode 1.
Episode 1, Season 1.
And, like, he's not gonna. I mean, why would they do it any other way? Yeah, I
Right.
think that's definitely a possibility.
Okay. Well, dope. See, that one's so bad.
Ice broken.
The other thing I wanted to ask you guys is, what genre do you actually consider yourself being?
We've had a little bit of back and forth on genre. Right now, I think we're settling into like indie alternative,
Alt indie.
or alt pop, somewhere in that spectrum.
We used to joke that we were going to wait until someone created a Wikipedia page for us
So
and
they
then
could-
labeled us with the genre, and then
Wow.
we'd finally know what our genre is.
Yeah. So fingers crossed
That
we-
happens.
Yeah, and then we'll know for sure. Just come back to us on that one.
Yeah.
How do you not have a Wikipedia page already?
You know, because you can write it yourself. I don't.
That's exactly why you should have one. You're going to put the most flattering things on there about yourself.
I mean, it'd be great if someone else did it for us, though. Is that how it happens? I mean, how does it happen normally?
I don't think you can just write one. I don't think that's how it works. I feel like I had to.
If you have a label, they probably figure out how to do it.
Because everybody would
Right.
just get on there and
Yeah.
write themselves the greatest person on the fucking
Yeah,
planet.
like
Yeah.
everybody would have a Wikipedia
True.
page if
Right.
if anybody could do it.
That is a question for later, though, to Google, is can you make your own Wikipedia page about yourself as a person?
Right after the podcast. This is what we're going to do next. To be continued.
Yes, but I have heard something thrown around about you guys, the term alt indie.
Yes.
You guys
That's what
use
we just
that.
said. Alt indie is kind of the genre we fall into because we are an indie band. But indie, there's debate about whether indie is actually a genre of music.
But there is this whole alternative indie genre that
exists.
emerging, and it's not alternative in the like rock sense. It's more just kind of like
It's not
alternative.
pop, it's not rock.
Yeah,
but
it's
somewhere
alternative in
between.
that it doesn't really fit anywhere else, but it's not so alternative that it's experimental.
Exactly.
Do you guys feel like it's kind of hard to describe where you're finding yourselves in terms of genre right now?
I think we can describe our music. Genre's just
Yes.
hard.
Genre's hard. I mean, writing our EPK, we were like having a really hard time coming up with like bands that you sound like and music that you sound like.
Yeah,
And
that's what
we
people
could find a
expect.
bunch of stuff that's like, we can pull referentially from this artist or I think it's a cool thing and an interesting thing about our music is that it doesn't sound like exactly like something that already exists, but it does make it a little difficult to kind of identify what the definition.
What box it fits in.
Yes.
Yeah. I will say that listening to your music, I would say that you have your own sound.
Thank you.
No, yeah. So I mean, immediately you took it as a compliment, which is great.
Yeah. I mean, that's
Yeah.
the whole.
100%.
That's the point.
We're not trying to be.
We're not
the
trying to
next
copy
anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what made a lot of bands famous. A lot of people used to say that about things like Coldplay or bands like Coldplay. They used to say they have their own sound. That's probably, in my opinion, the best way I could describe you two is that you two have your own sound.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, that comes to our next question. So where exactly did the name Still Electric come from?
So, there's a slam poem called Still Electric by B. Dolan. That came out forever ago.
If you haven't heard it, you should listen to it because it's beautiful. In fact, he has a recorded version, but he also has a live performance that he does. It is incredible.
You have to watch the live performance of it. In 2014, I got very sick. And in getting sick, I lost my eyesight. I lost my job. We lost our home. Our whole life was taken away from us. I lost my independence. And in that, we were living with my mom at the time, and I was sitting outside just feeling like all these terrible things had happened to me, and to us, to our lives. And there's a line in the poem, the very last line, that says, "I am ripping cables out of me and finding I am still electric." And it really resonated with me in that, like, here I am, here we are. We've lost everything. The worst possible thing happened to us, but we're still electric. We're still alive. And it just kind of became a mantra and a motto for our lives.
And when we were looking for a band name, it's just like the minute that came up, we were just, that's it.
We're still electric.
That's the band name.
That's awesome. That's a really cool story, and you know how it ties in to how you define yourselves. And
yeah, well, and we've been in a relationship for 12 years outside of the band. And we've been in the band for 2 years now, 2.5 years. And then, but our relationship has been going strong, and like there is a thing about being in a long-term relationship, and we also feel like, you know, in our relationship we're still electric, and in our music and everything we create we're still electric. We don't want to stop being electric. Mm-hmm. You know, it's kind of like it's become a motto for everything we do.
That's awesome.
Another thing I want to ask you guys is, you know, what can we expect from your upcoming? Basically, it is your debut album, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
That is awesome. What can we expect from your debut album that's coming up?
Hopefully some really groovy tunes.
Yeah. When we went into the studio, we went in with 3 words in mind. And it was impact, motion, and feeling.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we try to instill in every track we recorded and everything we did in the recording
process. We wanted it to have those 3 things. We wanted initial sonic impact. We want every song that you listen to have a sonic impact. We want motion. We want all the songs to make you move. And we wanted feeling. We want every song to make you feel something. Mm-hmm. So hopefully
there's a little bit of all of that in every song you hear. Cool.
So what is the name of the album? I don't think we've said that yet.
Oh, the name of the album is Friend.
And where does Friend come from?
So, Friend, me and Rachel spent a lot of time, a lot of drunken nights trying to figure out what our album title would be.
Yeah, I think we had like a little notes in our phone.
It probably, I think it's still in my phone, and it's got like 75 names on it right now that we didn't go with. And we were sitting up one night and we were talking about kind of the evolution of our music and why we do this.
In this album,
yeah. And you know, when this started, it started as a passion project for the 2 of us. It was just something we wanted to do.
Check it off the box.
Yeah, bucket list. Like we just like, and then in the recording process, and you know, starting to get out there and talk to people and show some people our music and starting to release some stuff, we started realizing that we stopped doing it just as a passion project. It wasn't just for us anymore.
And it became bigger than us. Like we had our producer now, and we had these awesome session musicians, and we had artists and videographers and photographers, and we had all these people working with us, and all of a sudden it wasn't just us anymore. It wasn't just the 2 of us.
It was, I mean, yeah, and it became about all the people that were involved, all the people that are going to listen to this album, and our family and friends who have supported us from day one. And this is for them.
Yeah. This
music, this creative process, this album is about our friends. Yeah. Because we wouldn't have been able to do that.
About our friends for our friends.
Yeah.
And the final track on the album is also titled Friend.
Yes.
Which
nice little tie-in.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, where exactly did the inspiration come from for the cover art? You guys released that a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
What is the story behind all that?
Another drunken night.
Separate drunken night.
Different.
Yeah, different drunken night. We just wanted something to kind of encompass this journey and all these songs and the emotions,
and we obviously wanted to be, you know, we didn't want to just put something out there that, I mean, we could have easily put a picture of us as the cover art, and we didn't want to do that. We wanted something interesting and artistic, but we also, like, in the same vein, we love working with people.
We love working with people, and the Dallas art scene is amazing.
Incredible.
And we like selfishly wanted an opportunity to work with other artists
And meet other artists in this area and really just kind of start those conversations.
And so, I mean, I don't really know. You know how those things start? It's like just kind of like catches steam.
Oh my god! So I mean,
so we're like, let's do a puzzle. Let's do a wooden puzzle. Let's do a huge wooden puzzle. Let's do 10 pieces so that each piece represents a song on the album.
oh my god! And then we can get like a different artist to paint each piece.
A different artist to paint each piece. It'll be great. That'll be it just like grew and grew and grew.
Yeah.
So what was it like working with the different Dallas local artists? Like, how did you find them? What was it like working with them, picking them, and getting the album or getting their piece?
So it probably
back?
started a little strange for them anyway.
So we like immediately went to Instagram and just kind of picked our favorite artists artists that we felt would fit the songs.
And we found lists on websites, and we like found art galleries in the area that feature local artists. So that's kind of how we kind of compiled a list. And
then we just searched Instagram for a long time until we found our artists. And then we just sent them creepy DM messages that were like
creepy
it's
because they're a DM. It's like a
creepy
random
it's like
DM.
an unsolicited or like an unsolicited.
We just sent them a thing saying like, "Hey, we're gonna do. We're an indie band. We're low budget, and we need artists that are gonna work for our album and work on our album art. And would that be something you'd be interested in?"
How many artists did you guys actually reach out to? You want to say?
We reached out to I think
12, 13?
I think we only had 2 people that were unable to do it.
So 11.
So people
11.
were pretty receptive.
Yeah.
They seemed pretty
Wildly. We did not expect that.
We thought we were going to get a lot more no's than we did. So we were really excited
And
to get
we didn't even get no's, really. We just got like, hey, this is the busiest time of the year for me, and I can't do this.
It was the holiday.
Yeah.
So, the 2 people that said no because of schedule.
I think it's a cool proposition. You have a band comes to you and says, hey, we're working on this massive project for this album art.
I don't know. I just felt so lucky that they all said yes. And it was amazing working with them. They were all so talented, so brilliant, and went above and beyond.
And what we decided to do with that was pick a bunch of different artists who have completely different styles, because we wanted every piece to be highlighted into, like, you can look at every piece and see a different story. Mm-hmm. And I think that was kind of a goal, and I don't know, we love it. They were amazing, so easy to work with. And the hardest part was the driving.
We're working with all these artists that you work with were here in the DFW area.
Yeah,
yes.
DFW area, but I mean from all
the
over.
farthest, so Arlington, Denton,
like
Dallas,
Mansfield, Denton, Rockwall. I mean, it was all over.
Yeah,
the DFW.
We were just driving for like probably 3 solid weeks.
And then, so did you let them, the piece that they got, did you let them listen to that song, or did you give them any direction?
They are one of the few people that have actually heard our music.
And they only had the raw versions. Like, they weren't mixed. They were just like the raw versions that we did in
mastered.
studio. But we just had them listen to the music and say, paint what you feel like painting. Mm-hmm. Or like what you feel.
And there were a couple people who were like, you could do this. We have this idea, but really just do what feels right.
You want. So we just kind of gave them free reign to paint what they felt like. And
so just to clarify, how many songs have you may I ask are on the album?
There are 10 on the album.
Okay. So if we haven't made it clear enough, there's 10 songs on the album, and there's 10 pieces of art that match the songs, or that you basically let these artists listen to these songs, and you basically gave them free reign to say, hey, this song, what do you feel, and paint what you feel.
Yeah, and there were 9 artists.
There were 9 artists. There was
one artist did 2 pieces.
Yeah, the 2 smallest pieces of the puzzle we gave to one artist.
Yes, for coverage area.
What was your reaction whenever you got the pieces back?
Oh, it was amazing.
It was ridiculous.
We were just like shocked every time we got them back. Like every single one.
In awe.
Like, how did you do this? This is amazing.
In our wildest dreams, we couldn't have imagined that it would have turned out as well as it did.
It's a beautiful piece of art.
Oh yeah, it's going on our wall. Yeah. I mean, 100% forever.
Gotta figure out how to frame that.
Yeah.
That actually brings me to the next question I wanted to ask you guys: is what is your creative process like? Like, how do you end up writing a song? Are you just sitting there and the music comes into your head?
We wrote about 50 songs in preparation for this album, and that's just the songwriter process. Is you've got to write.
You write 50 to find your 10 best, you know. But the creative process it varies. It's different from song to song.
I mean, how do you describe like creative inspiration? We don't force anything.
Yeah.
Just when it hits, it's like sometimes it's a melody and we just singing a melody in the car, and Rachel's like, "Hey, I'm gonna get out my phone. I'm gonna sing this melody into a recorder so I can remember it later."
So you guys do that often? You like being in a public place, you're driving, and the melody's in your head. You gotta save it.
100%.
Yes.
And
Or in the middle of the day, same thing with Maurice and the guitar. He just is like, oh, I've got to go play this right now. Rachel recorded this on the phone. I've got to play this right now, and then.
And Rachel and I actually write very differently. Because for me, when I start writing a song, I usually latch on to like a word or a line, and then let that kind of dictate the tone, and also I just jump off. I use it as like a diving board kind of, and I just jump in there and see where it goes.
Yeah. For me, I usually am more like emotions based. Like I want to write about a specific emotion or feeling, and kind of like go and trying to kind of articulate that emotion or feeling.
One thing that happened recently, we got to see part of this, is that you guys shot your very first music video.
Yeah, we did.
Can we talk about the name?
Yeah.
Yes.
That it's Through Your Eyes.
Through Your Eyes is the name of the first single.
Yeah.
With that music video, the shooting process of that was also pretty personal. How did that come about? Because you guys used a doctor's office, and you used your actual personal doctor to be part of the music video.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we were so thankful that he was able to do it. Shout out to Dr. Mazahari at the M. LASIK Center.
Yeah, it was, I don't know, it was really phenomenal. It was another one of those things where, like, we've learned a lot in this process about, like, when you want something, you kind of just have to ask, which is really scary.
Yeah, we spend so much, I think we spend too much of our lives being apologists for what we want in the creative process, and I think a lot of people do that.
Yeah,
they apologize too often for what they feel and what they want, and we just realize that we got to stop apologizing and just start doing.
The worst that they can say is no. So when it came to looking for an office, we just, I just asked him, "Hey, could we use this for the music video?"
And they talked for like 2 hours.
And we
that
talked
first
for like
day,
2 hours, and it was
so for those who don't know, because most people listening to this don't have the context for it, the music video centers around what you were going through with your health scare when it comes to your vision, all this other crap that was going on at the time.
Yeah. Which is what this song is about. The whole song is kind of about when I lost my vision. I was completely blind for 7 days. Didn't know what was wrong. Didn't know what was going on. I mean, I was just in complete darkness. And then after getting some treatment, about 25% of my vision was returned, which is where I am now. And in that, there's a lot of kind of fear and adjustment, and like, will I lose my vision again? Am I going to be blind again? What am I going to do? How am I going to live my life with this small amount of vision? And
I mean, how scary. I mean, just imagine how scary that would be.
It was terrifying. And for me, during that whole process, Maurice was very phenomenal and was, helping me, guiding me down hallways, helping me walk. I mean, I couldn't do anything by myself.
Wow.
And the song is really an homage to that like, even if I never see again, or if I lose my vision again, I will always have Maurice to show me the world through his eyes.
And that's what you wanted the music video to be about, basically.
I wanted the music video.
The song's about.
I just wanted the music video to kind of tell that story of the vision loss.
Because it's a hard story. I mean, you can tell it, and I mean, and she's told it, and even on this podcast already, she's told it. But like, seeing it and feeling it is much different, and I think we just kind of wanted the opportunity to show it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Even,
break away some of the confusion associated with it.
It's really crazy listening to that song. Like, you would think it's just like a really happy poppy song, too.
Yeah.
Right.
It has a completely different feel to it.
Yeah.
So, you really have to pay attention to the lyrics to understand what it's completely about.
Right. And that one in particular, and some of our songs are that way, too, where because losing your vision isn't something that's super universal, or my experience isn't super universal, I wanted to make sure that the song was written in a way that other people that hadn't experienced that could still relate to the song on a level that made sense to them.
Using metaphor and
using things that like could relate to their own lives instead of making it so singularly about my vision loss.
And Rachel and I are lyricists, writers, and we love that part of the songwriting process. But we also know that a lot of people don't listen to music and read the lyrics, or like, at least not on first glance, So like, a lot of our music too, we try to give it some layers. Yeah, it's not just the words, it's not just the meaning, it's also we create a completely different experience with the sound. or we try to.
Yeah, and then you can just peel back those layers if you want to like know more or dig deeper or whatever. There's always more for you to kind of dive into.
Yeah.
Yeah, Max asks the next question, which is
So next one. So
What you got, Max?
You guys are not managed by any
We're managed by our emotions and anxiety.
I think what Max is trying to ask.
Yeah,
no. You don't really have a manager. You guys are.
Yes, you don't have a manager.
Or a
There's
label.
no production company, no label.
No, we do have a producer.
Yes.
We do have a producer, but we're independent.
So
We're independent artists.
you're independent artists. You're self-funding.
Yeah.
Yes.
What has that been like?
It's a lot of learning.
We got to figure out how we're going to pay taxes for last year.
Yeah, I mean it's an expensive process, but I mean and just a lot of learning, really.
That was a joke, by the way. Don't.
Edit that bit out.
It's expensive. But it's also kind of, I think, when you are funding yourself and you are self-funded, you're self-made in a lot of ways.
And there's so much freedom. Like,
you have so much creative freedom.
Whatever crazy idea, hey, we want to get a bunch of artists on an album cover, there's nobody to tell you, no, that's crazy.
Yeah,
like,
nobody's going to dictate what your album art's going to be. Nobody's going to dictate nobody's going to tell you need to take this line out of a song. Like, we have complete control over that.
Yeah. So it's been great, a huge learning process, but it's been a lot of fun.
But that's crazy though to think about it. You guys don't really have a manager. You basically at your house, you wrote all this music, you rented out a studio, traveled across the country. You guys, you live here in the DFW. You went all the way to Boston and you recorded an album in the studio. You know, what was that experience like? You're actually going to a studio and recording.
Well, recording a whole album in like a week.
Yeah, it was 9 days.
You guys did it in how many days? 9 days?
9 days.
12 to 16-hour days.
So they were. Of those in a row.
We were doing everything but sleeping in there.
Yeah, it was insane. It was the most amazing experience of our lives, though.
So very difficult to describe, but like it's once in a lifetime opportunity.
Yeah, Electric was born in that studio. I
100%.
feel like we really found our sound. Our producer's phenomenal.
Our love grew exponentially while we were in
for the music.
Yeah.
I mean, just like our passion, our belief in ourselves.
Yeah, it was manic and it was frantic and it was insane, but it was like so much fun. It was the most. We didn't work, we were able to take that time off and
just really throw ourselves into it. And I think while we were there, we had that moment that was like, oh my gosh.
We get to be artists. Yeah, and this is what it's like to be full-time artists.
And this is what we want to do.
This is what we want to do with our lives.
Yeah.
How much would you say that your sound has changed since you first started? You said that Still Electric was born there in that studio.
A lot. When we started, I think we were limited by our own kind of capabilities and knowledge. We started as like indie folk.
Yeah. We were definitely inspired by indie folk, and we were acoustic guitar, very focused on melody and lyricism and just getting like the tunes out, and then just light percussion. It wasn't really super important to us. But Rachel had been talking forever just about how it wasn't right yet.
It wasn't right.
We hadn't found it.
We need some beats in here. We need some movement. We need some more instruments. Like this needs to be bigger. I want this to be more than what it is. This just doesn't feel like us.
So when we got into the studio, we struggled through it for a minute, just for a day and a half. And then Tony, our producer, Hamstank, we talked to him. We had a sit down and we were just like, this is what we want. And he was like, okay. And then, I don't know, the ball just started rolling. And it just started working.
It started making sense. It was amazing.
Well, you guys already have a YouTube channel out with a couple of songs on there already. Are any of those songs on the album?
No.
And those songs are more like our original sound, our older sound.
Okay.
Our new stuff is a little more evolved, a little different, a little more progressive. But no, none of those songs are on the album.
Yeah.
Which is kind of crazy. How old are those songs?
I mean...
A year? We just hit the year mark, right?
No.
On releasing them?
No, it's been 2 years. We released them in like a year and a half. I think we released them in 2017.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So it's been a minute.
Yeah.
We have almost an EP out.
Yeah,
but we've never put them together as an EP.
Yeah, so if you haven't watched, or if you haven't gone to their YouTube channel and seen the videos already out, then you're already late.
And we have a couple of covers up there that we've kind of done on our own, and I don't know, it's like one of those things too. Like we listen to them, they're great, they're good songs. They're
constantly evolving, constantly growing.
The new stuff is going to be light years. I don't know. It's.
We hope that everybody feels the same way.
Yeah.
So, I just have a question. Like, since we've kind of heard a couple of songs already, what is your favorite instrument on the album? Because y'all got a couple of crazy stuff on there. It's so fun.
It's hard to pick a favorite instrument. I mean, we're always going to be loyal to the acoustic guitar because it's like it's our root.
It's our root. Yeah.
But I don't know. There's crazy stuff. Like there's synth on our album, which is insane.
We never thought we'd
have synth, but I love our synth.
Yes. Oh my god, it's ridiculous.
The synth is crazy.
And that's something we never thought we'd put in our album. Yeah. Like, there's no way. He suggested it, and we were like, no, we're not going to do synth. Are you kidding me?
And then it's amazing. And then we had a couple of session musicians come in, and they were phenomenal. A bassist and a trumpet player.
A trumpet.
Yes.
And it's phenomenal. So groovy.
It adds like this insane element. I mean, the acoustic guitar, this funk bass, this like really jazzy trumpet. I mean, they shouldn't work together, but they work. Probably my favorite is that old weird piano.
Oh yeah, that was cool.
We found this like old toy piano on top of the studio and hammered out a little tune that is in the background of one of the songs. That's cool. That's like one of the coolest things.
We also have a beat that we made out of an Allen wrench and a hammer.
Yeah, like Rachel basically went into the vocal booth and hit an Allen wrench with a hammer, and Tony created a beat out of it.
It's crazy. There's all kinds of crazy instruments, and we love them all.
That's like a really makeshift way of doing things and making this album that ended up working for you guys.
Have you guys seen Bohemian Rhapsody?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I love the movie. Absolutely.
For sure.
That first scene when they do their first album,
and
when
they're like recording,
they
in the
sell
studio.
the van, and they like Freddie Mercury comes in, we're gonna go record an album, and they go in and they're in that studio and they're doing the weirdest shit.
Yeah,
they're just like
it's
they're
like
putting
chaos.
a lampshade on a microphone and twirling it around like that's the
what
closest.
It was like. I mean, it was just insane. Tony
you might see that and be like, "There's no way that happened," but it's like that happened.
That's
exactly how it happened.
Yeah, it's just like we need a sound that sounds like this. Let's run around the studio until we find something that sounds like what we want it to sound like. And we've got mics everywhere and drums everywhere and just like chaotic.
You can see some of the pictures of the studio on our Instagram, and it's just like wires. There are octopi. Is that multiple octopuses?
Yes.
Octopi.
Yeah, octopi everywhere. Just mechanical machines. We have drums everywhere. We did a lot of hand drumming on the album, so that's also another instrument that is like. But we were just like taking drums off the shelf and just slamming on them. Like it was crazy.
Chaos.
No, that's freaking awesome. There's a lot of people don't actually realize that's what making an album can be like. It's so organic.
That's what it should be like.
Yeah.
You should feel it. It's alive. Your album is coming to life, and let it breathe. Let it experience shit.
Yeah.
You know.
So, when exactly should we be expecting Through Your Eyes to come out?
Through Your Eyes is releasing on March 15th.
March 15th, everybody.
Yeah.
Write it on your calendars.
That's gonna be our first single. Our second single
will be released April 3rd.
In April. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's April 3rd, but April.
And then our album
is May 10th.
May 10th. Quickly followed by our release show on May 11th.
Do you guys actually plan on touring anytime soon?
Hopefully. Mm-hmm. Touring is like a whole new frontier for us. And at this point, touring as an indie band is oftentimes more expensive than what it's worth if you don't have the fan base. Mm-hmm. We live in a culture now that's so like Netflix and chill.
Yeah.
That it's very hard to get people off of the couch and go to a show for a band that they've never heard of. So really,
I mean, it's hard to get people off the couch to go to a show for a band they love.
Yeah, for a band you love.
Right.
So really, it's kind of like if our album, if we have fans, if we have people that are interested enough to like warrant a tour, then Hell yeah, we'll go on tour.
Yeah, we'll start next week.
Yeah,
I mean, what are you talking about?
We'll self-fund a tour if it makes sense for us. But I think our first goal with shows is really just to kind of start in the local scene.
Yeah, I think we're going to start here in DFW.
We do have a show planned in Colorado already in July.
Yes, we have been booked for a show in July.
In Colorado.
Wow.
Awesome. So 2 months after the release.
Yeah, 2
Yes.
months after the release, we have a show in Colorado. But,
Do you have any plans on a release party in Dallas?
Yes.
That is our release show. Hopefully it's going to be, I said May 11th earlier, but hopefully it is going to be in that. We're working on booking the venue right now. That is going to be our first show, and it is going to be celebrating the release of the album.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. So who would be your ideal person to collab with, or your ideal band to collab with?
Collaboration.
Should we do living or dead?
Either
one.
But yeah, well, first of all, dead. Who would be the one that
Dead?
Dead first.
You said
Dead?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's so hard. There are so many talented artists.
Who comes to mind that you've thought about when
I
you're
thought Robin Williams immediately, and that's not right. It wouldn't work.
I think we just all want him to come back.
Yeah.
That's just
what
don't
it
love
is.
for Robin Williams. Want him to come back, but in terms of a musician,
A musician? I don't know.
I love Amy Winehouse,
Ooh, that's
but
a good one.
but collabing with her,
stylistically,
I don't know. Could we?
We are huge fans of like hip hop and R&B, so like, I mean, collaborating with a
Tupac.
hip hop artist, I mean, would be incredible.
Yeah, as far as like
we write
jazz
the
or
hook and
live,
they
yeah.
rap on the verses.
as far as
that would be cool.
live artists, like I'd love to work with Matt Mason.
Yes.
He's
Awesome.
amazing.
Oh, he's incredible. We could do like a little
Some kind of
3-person.
crossover.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
We're super into Darwin Dees right now too,
Yeah, his stuff is so funky and so cool.
and Jessie Reyes is amazing.
Oh, she's incredible.
Right.
She's like super incredible.
Those are like some.
Dead though, man. I don't know. I mean, how do you not say? I mean, you
Like,
want to be
it's
like
The greats.
John
Yeah.
Lennon and like
Yeah.
Jimi Hendrix and
Queen,
Queen, yeah,
Freddie
Freddie
Mercury,
Mercury.
right? But like, I don't know. Like stylistically, it's got to make sense too.
yeah.
Because like music that was produced in the 70s and the 60s isn't the same music that is produced now. So with like, how cool would they feel being on an alt indie album? Like what?
This
How do
is
you go?
trash.
We can throw in a Jimi Hendrix solo into any one of our songs. That would be dope. But like, would they? I don't know. Would it work?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd love to meet all these people,
Right.
For sure.
Right.
And our
I'd love
generation.
to watch them. I'd love to go to their performances. Like,
Yeah,
how
just
incredible
to
would
watch
that be?
them.
Yeah, I mean, to be at Woodstock, like, jeez, that would
Yeah.
be insane.
Our generation has witnessed Rob Zombie collaborate with Lionel Richie, so fucking anything's possible.
Yeah.
So,
True.
shit.
Anything's
I mean,
possible.
Paul McCartney wrote a song for Kanye West and Rihanna.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
like, that
Anything's
happens.
possible.
It's possible.
Yeah.
I don't know. Ed Sheeran would be dope to collab with. We've seen some of his kind of how he writes music
Yeah.
is really cool. John Bellion is another artist who
We could seriously
we could just
go
keep
on
going.
and on and
I mean,
on with artists that we would.
anybody who takes this stuff seriously, loves what they do, and also has a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah. And like
That's important
anybody
to
you
us.
work with has something to teach you and like something you can learn. So like
Exactly.
getting the opportunity to work with anybody, any other musician who's like out there doing it is just cool and exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I really want to thank you guys for sitting down with us. One of the last things we wanted to ask you is, where can people find you on social media?
We are on the big ones. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Instagram, it's at Still Electric Band. Twitter is at I'm Still Electric.
And then Facebook is facebook.com/StillElectricBand.
We're on all those.
We're on all
socials.
those. As soon as we release the album, we're going to be on
Anywhere you can find
anywhere
music.
you can find music. So Spotify, Pandora, iTunes, Amazon Music, all those.
So just look you up, Still Electric, right now. Just Google the hell out of it.
Yeah, look up
Yeah.
Still Electric Band. You can go to our website,
Yeah,
and our website will have links so we can plug that.
Yeah, StillElectricBand.com has links to all of those things.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
You can sign up for a newsletter on StillElectricBand.com so
Yeah.
you can stay updated with the
Yes,
newest
and we send out a
information.
newsletter at the beginning of every month
Mm-hmm.
with only stuff that people who sign up for the newsletter get to see.
Newsletter exclusives.
Yes,
Okay, awesome. Well, again, thank you guys for sitting down with us.
of course. It was a great time.
Thanks for having us.
I'm going to go eat some more and drink some more. You guys want to over there?
Yeah.
Hondo.
Thanks for dinner.